Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network, and today's topic is mind and matter. And we consider that they're two separate things, but maybe not so much. So it should be a fun conversation. And before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your molecules, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, we're going to imagine brilliant, bright light lighting us up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all our organs, our cells, our blood, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from our heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling as you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, we're talking about mind and matter. I just came back from a Joe Dispenza meditation retreat, and it was extraordinary. So, if you've not heard of Joe Dispenza, check out his books. One is You Are the Placebo. Another is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Another is, I think it's Being or Becoming Supernatural. And what his work is about is our capability to travel in different realms, to actually be, to experience and to tap into energetic frequencies that take us beyond the boundaries of our 3D reality. In other words, to access the quantum field. And in accessing the quantum field, we make ourselves present and available to unlimited potentials that go beyond the definitions of our standard reality and what's possible. And it's a space of the miraculous, because not being bounded by the conventions of belief and identity and consensus, so to speak, there's access to radically different potentials. So we heard wonderful, wonderful stories of miracle kinds of things happening. We call them miracles because they're outside of our common experience. They don't particularly call them miracles. That's me. But people having instantaneous healings from cancer, from Parkinson's, from all kinds of other ailments, brain injuries, all kinds of things. And what enables this to happen is that we're actually able to give ourselves, I'll say, a transcendent experience, an experience where we lose our identification with the familiar, with our current reality, where we're stepping into a place of no time, no space, no identification as an individual, where we're finding consciousness that isn't bounded by our experience. It's challenging to talk about this because the words that we have are words about a common experience, right? And about a physical experience. And when you step into a place that is beyond words, that's beyond thought, that's beyond time, that's beyond space, how do you describe that? It's beyond a physically definable experience. And the thing is that we do have the capability to access this space. And many people describe it as a place of pure love, of pure energy, pure consciousness. And from that space, if we think about quantum physics tells us that anything is possible, everything is possible, that there are multitudes of dimensions, and what we do have a capability to do is to access these other dimensions of being. And when we do, what happens is incomprehensible because it's beyond thought. So, as an example, one of the things that we do in these retreats is what's called a coherence healing. And there were 1,800 people there, and there were a number of people who had extreme health conditions, cancer, paralysis, brain injury, all kinds of things, depression, beyond. And so, good morning, good morning. I am loved by God. How beautiful. Welcome, welcome. So good to have you joining us this morning. I'm talking about mind and matter, and how we can transcend the perceived limitations of matter by accessing this other dimension of consciousness, which in its purest form is pure love. So anyway, we do a coherence healing, and the way that it works is that certain people volunteer to be the healees, the people that are being healed, and everybody else is a healer. And so there's this big room holding 1,800 people, and the healees are laying on the floor, and around each healee seat are seated 8 people. Wonderful, just what I need. This is so powerful. So check out Joe Dispenza. Check out he's got multiple books. 3 of them are You are the placebo, breaking the habit of being yourself and becoming supernatural, super powerful. So um, we did, over the course of from Saturday through yesterday, Saturday night through yesterday, we did 3 coherence healings. And um, yesterday, the woman that I was in the group working with had breast cancer, and it had metastasized to all her bones, and she had tumors throughout her whole body, on all her bones. She had a 9-centimeter tumor on her spine at the base of her neck. She had all kinds of other tumors all over the place. And I think that she had attended 3 or 4 different events and had been a Healy at all these different events. And by the time she joined us yesterday, or we joined her, the tumor, and I don't know the time frame, I think this is 6 months to a year probably. She had a nominal amount of tumors remaining, and she has another scan coming up this week, and she was completely confident that it would come back clear. And this kind of thing, to so many of us, uh, smacks of the miraculous, right? Because these things aren't supposed to be possible. But over and over and over again, there are people that are transcending the foundations or the limitations of our 3D consciousness by accessing this other dimension of being, and or of awareness, and by stepping into a new mind, we create a new body. And so how does this happen? One of the wonderful things about Dr. Joe and what he's up to is that they are generating lots and lots and lots and lots of scientific data using saliva and blood and urine and all kinds of brainwave tests and blood pressure, all different kinds of metrics to document changes in people that are meditating, that are doing this work. And this isn't quiet silence type meditation. I call it rock star meditation. I mean, there's incredible music, it's guided imagery, it's very dynamic and energetic, and quiet meditation works too. I'm just saying that that's what this is. Each day starts with dancing. Each return from a break starts with dancing. It's very, very energetic. Anyway, one of the studies that they have done is studies with people intending to create a certain chemical within their bodies, not really knowing anything about chemistry, not really knowing much about that chemical, but being given a visual of that chemical, and then intending to create that. It was the activation of a gene, actually. And 100% of the people, through their intention, were able to activate that gene. And so when we recognize that we have this capability, that we have the power to shift our physiology, it's a really important thing to be aware of. Because when we have an emotional state, there is a corresponding set of chemistry that is released into our bodies when we're in fear, when we're anxiety, when we're joyful, when we're loving. Different chemicals get released. And as we practice or repeat our emotional states, what happens is we generate more and more of that chemistry, and it becomes sort of a snowball effect because the chemistry then starts generating the state. The more we practice it, for good or for ill, the more we're generating chemistry and emotion and thought. And I've talked about the limbic system. There's a program called DNRS that I've mentioned previously for reprogramming the limbic system. The limbic system is our system of fight and flight, essentially. It's our survival system, survival brain. And what happens when we experience trauma is that something gets anchored. And then typically we revisit it, right? We're rehearsing it, we're reliving it, we're ruminating on it and creating it over and over. And as we create it over and over, we're reinforcing not only the mental imagery, but we're reinforcing the chemistry that goes along with that experience. And that can be for good or for ill. We can keep reliving something that was magnificent and inspiring. Most of us don't do that. So, unfortunately, though, most of us will relive something that was upsetting and just keep recreating it. And what happens is that we become addicted to those chemicals. They become something that we then seek. So many of us who have had very dramatic lives get sort of addicted to the chemistry of that drama. And so we will go and create that kind of drama so that we can get a hit from that kind of chemistry. So the good news is that we can actually repattern this, that we can create different mental states, different emotional states, that we can generate different states of feeling and being. And the express lane to be able to do that is through accessing other dimensions of consciousness by meditation, for example, where we can actually get into a state of relaxation, of releasing the familiar, of embracing this vast, unbounded potential, the unknown. And we in our culture, in so many ways, are trained to fear the unknown, to prevent or to protect ourselves against the unknown, to prepare for the unknown. And instead, if we can cultivate an ability to relax into the unknown, to embrace it, that's where our possibility exists. That's where our possibility resides, that we can actually allow that there are possibilities that defy our current understanding. And we can generate new states, we can generate new potentials, that maybe there are answers to our quandaries that we haven't entertained, partly because we're constrained by the limits of our belief and our perception. And if we have any doubt that our perception is limited, what we can start considering is that our visual perspective is bounded by a very, very narrow spectrum of light. There are only so many colors we can see. Other animals see infrared and ultraviolet, and there's all this whole other spectrum of energy that we don't consciously perceive. And that represents the vastness of potential. And we don't even have a way to relate consciously to the fuller spectrum. So given that we're perceiving in this narrow slice, this narrow sliver of just light, let alone whatever else there is, can help to let us understand how much more reality there is for us to tap into potentially. And that in those other dimensions of awareness, in that broader spectrum, that there's experience that is perhaps inconceivable to us. And rather than being frightening, I think it can be heartening to know that we have ways to tap into this vastness and these potentials, that we have ways to go beyond what we imagine possible and find a new relationship with knowledge and life and knowing, and even what we are, because we tend to believe that we're fixed, that we are a static thing, when in fact what we are is process. What we are is this ongoing evolution of an expression of matter. So we're definitely going to have more conversations about this, but that's it for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and myself. The links are in the description. And as always, you can reach me through Facebook. So I am loved by God asked, how can I reach you? Yeah, just look for me on Facebook and you can direct message me. So it's Mira Rubin. Anyway, as always, it is a pleasure and a deep, deep privilege to have the opportunity to connect with you. I'm not sure what to tell you at the moment. Let me think about that, and hopefully you'll come back and I'll be able to give you a better answer. So anyway, until next time, so much love to you.